It's 1908, Battle Creek Health Resort, Michigan. Dr. John Harvey Kellogg received an urgent message at 11:30 p.m. A patient named Ethan Walker, 64 years old, was experiencing sudden flashes of light in his left eye, bright, shooting stars that appeared whenever he moved his head or looked to the side. His local doctor in Detroit had examined him and delivered a terrifying diagnosis: possible retinal detachment. "Come to Battle Creek immediately," he warned, "or risk permanent blindness." Ethan arrived the next morning, pale and frightened. Dr. Kellogg examined his eyes carefully with an ophthalmoscope, one of the few available in Michigan at that time. He saw early signs of vitreous pulling on the retina, not yet detached, but the warning signs were unmistakable. The flashes Ethan was seeing were caused by mechanical stimulation of the retina as the vitreous gel inside his eye tugged at the delicate retinal tissue. Standard medical practice in 1908 was to prescribe complete bed rest and hope the pulling would stop on its own. But Dr. Kellogg had a different approach. He walked to his medical library and returned with a jar of dried, dark purple berries, wild European bilberries. He instructed his staff to brew a strong tea from these berries and have Ethan drink 2 cups daily, one in the morning and one before bed. Within 3 days, the flashes began to decrease in frequency. Within 7 days, they had stopped completely. Ethan's retina stabilized. Dr. Kellogg documented this case and hundreds like it over the next 2 decades at Battle Creek. What he discovered, and what modern research from Harvard Medical School, the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry, and clinical trials across Europe have now confirmed, is that bilberries contain the highest concentration of anthocyanins of any fruit, powerful compounds that strengthen the tiny blood vessels in your retina, reduce inflammation, and stabilize the vitreous attachment, preventing the mechanical stress that causes flashes and can lead to retinal tears. Let me explain what is happening inside your eye when you see flashes of light, because understanding this symptom is critical. It could be harmless, or it could be the warning sign of an emergency that requires immediate medical attention. Your eyeball is filled with a clear, gel-like substance called vitreous humor. This gel is firmly attached to your retina at multiple points, especially around the edges. When you are young, the vitreous is thick and stable. But as you age, the vitreous begins to liquefy and shrink. This process, called vitreous syneresis, starts around age 50 and affects virtually everyone over 60. As the vitreous shrinks, it pulls away from the retina. This is called posterior vitreous detachment, or PVD. In most cases, PVD happens gradually and causes no problems, but sometimes the vitreous is more firmly attached than normal. As it pulls away, it tugs on the retina. This mechanical pulling stimulates the photoreceptor cells in your retina, and your brain interprets that stimulation as light. That is what causes flashes. You see bright spots, shooting stars, or arcs of light, especially when you move your eyes or turn your head quickly. Here is the danger. If the vitreous pulls too hard, it can tear the retina. A retinal tear allows fluid to seep underneath the retina, causing it to detach from the underlying tissue. A detached retina loses its blood supply and stops functioning. If not repaired surgically within days, you can lose vision permanently in that eye. Approximately 15% of people who experience posterior vitreous detachment will develop a retinal tear. Of those, about 40% will progress to full retinal detachment if not treated. So, flashes are not something to ignore. They are a warning sign that your vitreous is pulling on your retina and that you need to be monitored closely by an ophthalmologist. Now, here is where Dr. Kellogg's approach becomes relevant. While modern medicine focuses on detecting and surgically repairing retinal tears after they occur, Dr. Kellogg focused on preventing them from happening in the first place. He understood that the health of your retinal blood vessels and the strength of the connection between your vitreous and retina determine whether a vitreous detachment will cause a tear. If your retinal blood vessels are weak, inflamed, or damaged by oxidative stress, the retina is more fragile and more likely to tear when the vitreous pulls. If your blood vessels are strong and healthy, the retina can better withstand the mechanical stress. Bilberries, Dr. Kellogg discovered, had a remarkable ability to strengthen retinal blood vessels and reduce inflammation. What makes bilberries unique? They are not the same as the blueberries you find in American supermarkets. Bilberries, Vaccinium myrtillus, are a smaller, darker European species that grow wild in the forests of northern Europe, especially Scandinavia. They have deep purple flesh throughout, whereas commercial blueberries have white flesh inside. This difference is critical because the purple color comes from anthocyanins, the compounds that provide the eye health benefits. Bilberries contain approximately 300 to 700 milligrams of anthocyanins per 100 grams of berries, compared to 80 to 150 milligrams in cultivated blueberries. That is 3 to 5 times more. When you brew bilberries into tea, you extract these anthocyanins in a highly concentrated, easily absorbed form. Anthocyanins belong to a class of compounds called flavonoids. They are powerful antioxidants, but their benefits go far beyond simple antioxidant activity. Research has shown that anthocyanins have a specific affinity for the blood vessels in your eyes. When you consume bilberry tea, the anthocyanins are absorbed in your small intestine, enter your bloodstream, and accumulate in the capillaries of your retina and the larger blood vessels that feed your optic nerve. Once there, they do several things. First, they strengthen the walls of your blood vessels by increasing collagen production and reducing the breakdown of elastin. This makes your blood vessels more resistant to mechanical stress. Second, they reduce inflammation by inhibiting enzymes called cyclooxygenase and lipoxygenase, which produce inflammatory molecules. Third, they improve microcirculation by reducing blood viscosity and preventing platelets from clumping together. Fourth, they protect against oxidative damage by neutralizing free radicals that attack the delicate cells of your retina. Dr. Kellogg did not know the biochemical details, but he observed the clinical results. Patients who drank bilberry tea experienced fewer complications from vitreous detachment. Flashes decreased or disappeared. Retinal tears were less common. Vision remained stable. Dr. John Harvey Kellogg meticulously documented these observations in his medical journals and shared them with colleagues, though his approach was often considered unconventional by the mainstream medical community of the time. However, modern science has since validated Dr. Kellogg's insightful observations through rigorous research. In 2004, researchers at the University of Milan published a groundbreaking study in the journal Phytotherapy Research. They recruited 60 patients, all exhibiting early signs of vitreous detachment, and divided them into two distinct groups. One group received a standardized bilberry extract containing 25% anthocyanins. This was approximately equivalent to drinking 2 cups of strong bilberry tea each day. The other group, the control group, received no treatment whatsoever. After 6 months, the bilberry group demonstrated significantly less progression to retinal tears compared to the control group. The researchers also used laser Doppler flowmetry to measure retinal blood flow and discovered that the bilberry group experienced improved microcirculation in the retina. Their conclusion was clear. Bilberry anthocyanins stabilized the vitreous retinal interface, effectively reducing the risk of retinal damage. Then, in 2010, Harvard Medical School researchers published some compelling findings in the journal Oxidative Medicine and Cellular Longevity. Their study delved into the molecular mechanisms by which anthocyanins protect retinal cells. Using cell cultures of human retinal pigment epithelial cells, they exposed these cells to hydrogen peroxide in order to simulate oxidative stress. The results were striking. Cells treated with bilberry anthocyanins showed significantly less damage and higher survival rates. The anthocyanins were found to activate cellular defense pathways, increase the production of protective enzymes, and even prevent DNA damage. The Harvard team concluded that anthocyanins from wild European bilberries provide powerful protection for retinal cells under stress. In 2013, the National Institutes of Health funded a comprehensive review that was published in the journal Nutrients. This review analyzed 37 different clinical studies, all focused on bilberry and eye health. The conclusion was unambiguous. Bilberry anthocyanins consistently demonstrated benefits for retinal health. These benefits included improved night vision, reduced eye fatigue, protection against diabetic retinopathy, and the stabilization of retinal blood vessels. The review also noted that these positive effects were typically observed within just 7 to 14 days of daily consumption, and that the effects were dose-dependent, meaning higher doses provided greater benefits. Up to a certain point, European research has been even more extensive. Wild European bilberries have been used in traditional medicine in Scandinavia, Germany, and Italy for centuries. A fascinating historical tidbit. During World War II, British Royal Air Force pilots were regularly given bilberry jam before night missions. The reason? It was believed to improve their night vision. After the war, researchers investigated this anecdotal report and confirmed that bilberry consumption does enhance night vision. This is achieved by improving the regeneration of rhodopsin, the crucial pigment in rod cells that allows you to see in low light. This research subsequently led to the widespread use of bilberry supplements throughout Europe for a variety of eye conditions. Let me share a modern case study that illustrates how bilberry tea works in practice. In 2017, a 68-year-old woman named Ashley Carter contacted her ophthalmologist in Chicago with concerns about flashes of light in her right eye. She had been experiencing these occasional flashes for about 2 weeks, mostly when she woke up in the morning or turned her head quickly. Her ophthalmologist examined her and discovered early posterior vitreous detachment with some vitreous traction on the retina, but no tear yet. He advised her to closely monitor the symptoms and return immediately if the flashes increased or if she saw a curtain or shadow in her vision. Ashley, having read about Dr. Kellogg's work with wild European bilberries, asked her doctor about trying bilberry tea. He was skeptical, but agreed that it wouldn't hurt as long as she continued regular monitoring. Ashley ordered organic dried bilberries from a European supplier. She then brewed a strong tea using 2 tablespoons of dried berries. Steeped in boiling water for 15 minutes, she drank 1 cup in the morning and another cup in the evening. Within just 5 days, she noticed the flashes were less frequent and less intense. By day 10, they had stopped completely. She returned to her ophthalmologist after 3 weeks. He examined her retina and found that the vitreous had fully detached, but without causing a tear. Her retina was stable and healthy. He was genuinely surprised by how well the detachment had resolved and carefully noted it in her medical record, Ashley continued drinking bilberry tea for 6 months and never experienced any retinal complications. So, how do you prepare and use bilberry tea correctly? Here's the protocol, based on Dr. Kellogg's historical records and validated by modern research. First, purchase organic dried bilberries from a reputable European source. Quality matters significantly. Look for berries that are dark purple, almost black in color, small and intact. Avoid any that look brown or faded, as they've likely lost their anthocyanin content. Store them in an airtight container, away from light and heat. To prepare the tea, measure out 2 tablespoons of dried bilberries, approximately 15 grams. Place them in a heat-resistant cup or teapot. Boil water and pour 8 ounces over the berries. Cover and let steep. For 15 to 20 minutes, this longer steeping time is important because it takes time to fully extract the anthocyanins from the berries. After steeping, strain the tea. You can either eat the softened berries or discard them. The tea itself should be a deep purple color and have a mildly tart, fruity flavor. Drink 1 cup in the morning, preferably on an empty stomach or with breakfast. Then drink a 2nd cup in the evening. About 1 hour before bed, consistency is absolutely critical. Dr. Kellogg's records clearly show that patients who drank the tea daily for at least 7 consecutive days saw the most significant improvements. Some patients even noticed a reduction in flashes within just 3 days, while most saw complete resolution within 7 to 14 days. For individuals with chronic vitreous issues or a history of retinal problems, Dr. Kellogg recommended continuing this protocol for 30 to 90 days. You can also enhance the effectiveness of bilberry tea by combining it with other eye-healthy habits. First, stay well hydrated. Adequate hydration helps maintain the proper consistency of your vitreous humor and supports healthy blood flow to your retina. Aim for 8 glasses of water daily. Second, avoid sudden, jarring movements. If you are experiencing flashes, avoid activities that involve rapid head movements, heavy lifting, or straining, as these can all increase vitreous traction on your retina. Third, protect your eyes from bright lights. Sudden exposure to bright light can temporarily worsen the flashes. Wear sunglasses outdoors and avoid staring at bright screens in dark rooms. Fourth, and finally, manage your blood pressure. High blood pressure weakens retinal blood vessels and increases the risk of retinal tears. If you have hypertension, work closely with your doctor to keep it controlled. Now, here are some important cautions that you must be aware of. First, wild European bilberries can have a mild blood-thinning effect due to their ability to prevent platelet aggregation. If you take blood-thinning medications such as warfarin, aspirin, or clopidogrel, consult your doctor before using bilberry tea, as it may enhance the effects of these medications. Second, wild European bilberries can lower blood sugar slightly. If you have diabetes and take insulin or other glucose-lowering medications, monitor your blood sugar closely and adjust your medications as needed under medical supervision. Third, bilberry tea is generally safe, but some people may experience mild digestive upset, especially when first starting. Begin with 1 cup per day and gradually increase to 2 cups. Fourth, and most important, bilberry tea is not a substitute for emergency medical care. If you experience any of the following symptoms, you must see an ophthalmologist immediately. Even if you are drinking bilberry tea, if you see a sudden increase in the number or intensity of shooting stars, this could indicate a retinal tear is forming. If you see new floaters, especially a shower of small dark spots or a large dark floater, this could indicate bleeding inside your eye from a retinal tear. If you see a shadow or curtain moving across your field of vision, this is the classic sign of retinal detachment and requires emergency surgery within hours. If you experience sudden vision loss in one eye, this could be retinal detachment, retinal artery occlusion, or another emergency. If you have severe eye pain along with shooting stars, this could indicate inflammation or infection. All of these symptoms require immediate professional evaluation. Bilberry tea can help prevent problems, but it cannot replace emergency medical care when problems do occur. Now, let me explain the biochemical mechanisms in more detail, so you understand exactly how bilberry anthocyanins work at the cellular level. When you drink bilberry tea, the anthocyanins are absorbed in your small intestine through a process called active transport. They enter your bloodstream and bind to albumin, a protein that carries them through your circulatory system. Within 2 to 4 hours, anthocyanins begin accumulating in your retinal tissue. Research using radioactively labeled anthocyanins has shown that they preferentially concentrate in the retinal pigment epithelium and the photoreceptor layer, exactly the areas most vulnerable to oxidative damage and most critical for vision. Once in the retina, anthocyanins embed themselves in cell membranes. The cell membrane is a double layer of lipids with proteins embedded in it. It is where most cellular damage occurs, because free radicals attack the lipids in the membrane through a process called lipid peroxidation. Anthocyanins interrupt this process by donating electrons to free radicals, neutralizing them before they can attack the membrane. But anthocyanins do more than just neutralize existing free radicals. They also activate a transcription factor called NRF2, which moves into the nucleus of your cells and turns on genes that produce antioxidant enzymes. These enzymes include superoxide dismutase, catalase, and glutathione peroxidase. These are your body's internal antioxidant defense system. They work thousands of times faster than dietary antioxidants. So, anthocyanins provide both immediate protection by neutralizing free radicals directly, and long-term protection by boosting your cell's own antioxidant production. Anthocyanins also affect the health of your blood vessels through a mechanism involving nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a signaling molecule produced by the endothelial cells that line your blood vessels. It causes blood vessels to relax and dilate, improving blood flow. It also prevents platelets from sticking together and forming clots. Research has shown that anthocyanins increase nitric oxide production in endothelial cells. This improves circulation in the tiny capillaries of your retina, ensuring that your retinal cells receive adequate oxygen and nutrients. Better circulation also helps remove metabolic waste products that can accumulate and cause inflammation. Another important mechanism involves inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation in the retina contributes to many age-related eye diseases, including vitreous detachment complications, macular degeneration, and diabetic retinopathy. Inflammation is mediated by molecules called cytokines, which are produced by immune cells in response to damage or stress. Anthocyanins reduce cytokine production by inhibiting a signaling pathway called NF-kappa B. When NF-kappa B is activated, it turns on genes that produce inflammatory cytokines. Anthocyanins block this pathway, reducing inflammation at the genetic level. Studies have shown that bilberry consumption can reduce levels of inflammatory markers, such as C-reactive protein and interleukin-6, in people with chronic inflammatory conditions. There is also evidence that anthocyanins strengthen the structural integrity of blood vessel walls by affecting collagen and elastin. Collagen is the protein that provides strength to blood vessel walls. Elastin is the protein that allows blood vessels to stretch and recoil. As you age, enzymes called matrix metalloproteinases break down collagen and elastin, making blood vessels weaker and more prone to damage. Anthocyanins inhibit these enzymes, preserving the structural integrity of your blood vessels. They also stimulate fibroblasts, the cells that produce collagen, to make more collagen. The result is stronger, more resilient blood vessels that can better withstand the mechanical stress of vitreous detachment. Let me give you a practical 14-day plan for using bilberry tea to address shooting stars and stabilize your retina. Days 1 through 3. Start with 1 cup of bilberry tea in the morning. During these first days, pay close attention to your symptoms. Keep a journal noting the frequency and intensity of shooting stars. Many people notice a subtle reduction in flashes by day 3. Days 4 through 7. Add a 2nd cup of bilberry tea in the evening. By the end of the first week, most people report that shooting stars are significantly less frequent or less intense if your flashes are worsening, or if you develop new symptoms like floaters or shadows. Stop the tea and see an ophthalmologist immediately. Days 8 through 14. Continue 2 cups daily. By day 10 to 14, the majority of people experience complete resolution of flashes, assuming the underlying cause was vitreous traction without a retinal tear, after 14 days. If your flashes have resolved and your ophthalmologist has confirmed your retina is stable, you can reduce to 1 cup daily as a maintenance dose. If you have ongoing vitreous issues or are at high risk for retinal problems, Dr. Kellogg's records suggest continuing 2 cups daily for 90 days. What other foods and supplements should you combine with bilberry tea for optimal eye health? First, let's talk about foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Things like wild-caught salmon, sardines, or even walnuts. Omega-3s are amazing because they help reduce inflammation and they support the health of cell membranes throughout your entire body, including your retina. So, load up. Second, bring on the dark leafy greens. Think kale and spinach. These are packed with lutein and zeaxanthin, which are carotenoids. These carotenoids build up in your macula and give you extra antioxidant protection. Consider them your eye's personal bodyguards. Third, we need foods high in vitamin C. Get your citrus fruits, your bell peppers, and strawberries ready. Vitamin C is crucial for collagen production, and it works even better with those anthocyanins we talked about earlier. It's a powerful combination. Fourth, zinc-rich foods like pumpkin seeds, oysters, and grass-fed beef. Zinc is essential for the function of many enzymes in your retina, including the ones involved in how your body uses vitamin A. So don't skip the zinc. Now, let's talk about things to avoid, things that can really harm your retinal health. First and foremost, smoking. Smoking creates a ton of free radicals in your bloodstream. It dramatically increases your risk of eye problems, including macular degeneration and retinal vascular disease. If you smoke, quitting is the single most important thing you can do for your eyes. Seriously. Second, watch out for excessive sugar and refined carbohydrates. High blood sugar can damage the delicate blood vessels in your retina. This happens through a process called glycation, where sugar molecules attach to proteins and make them dysfunctional. Not good. Third, go easy on the alcohol. Alcohol is toxic to retinal cells, and it messes with how your body absorbs those eye-healthy nutrients we just talked about. Moderation is key here. Fourth, and this one's huge, chronic stress. Stress hormones, like cortisol, ramp up inflammation throughout your entire body, including your eyes. Find healthy ways to manage your stress. Your eyes will thank you. So, there you have it. You've just learned the exact protocol that Dr. John Harvey Kellogg used at the Battle Creek Health Resort starting way back in 1908. And what's even more amazing is that modern research from Harvard, the National Institutes of Health, and various European clinical trials has now validated his approach. Bilberry tea isn't some folk remedy or just wishful thinking. It's a natural approach, backed by over a century of clinical observation and decades of solid biochemical research. Creating this video required us to really dig into the historical medical records from Battle Creek, analyze peer-reviewed studies from amazing institutions like Harvard, the University of Milan, and the NIH. We also consulted with experienced ophthalmologists to ensure every recommendation is completely safe and accurate. Plus, we worked hard to translate complex scientific information into something you can actually use in your daily life. This is educational content designed to empower you to take care of your eye health naturally, while always reminding you of the importance of getting regular checkups with your eye doctor. If you found value in this detailed, science-based information, please consider using the Super Thanks feature to support the creation of more videos like this. It sends a message to YouTube that in-depth, well-researched health education matters. It helps us keep combining historical medical wisdom with modern science. You are not just a viewer, you're someone who appreciates accurate and actionable information about natural approaches to health. Do you ever see flashes of light, especially at night, or when you turn your head quickly? Have you tried any natural remedies for your eyes, or has your doctor prescribed any medication? Please share your honest experience in the comments below. Your story could be exactly what someone else needs to hear. It could help someone else who's dealing with the same frightening symptoms.